Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you and Paul in Woodinville, Washington. Hey, Paul, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Thom, I was thinking about the Biden COVID relief package, and wouldn't it be a good idea for the House to offer or make it public and publicly offer to reinstate the Trump tax cuts for the middle class, the ones that expired on December 31st, and say we'll reinstate these for 2 years and make the Senate Republicans filibuster that. And the reason for doing this is, first of all, to highlight the fact that they have expired and that this is Biden being bipartisan by offering to put them back. And, of course, the Republicans will filibuster that because they don't want any Democrat victories. So then, after they filibuster it, you can point the finger at them and say, look, they don't want you to have anything. Even though the tax cuts, those tax cuts that expired really didn't do squat for people making under $70,000. My understanding is that most people, it had no effect just because of the way the bill was written. It really didn't save anybody any money. But so that's why it's no harm to put it in. And then after they filibuster it, you pull it off the table and put Biden's tax cut for the middle class in there, including the child income tax credit.
That he just rolled out this weekend. Yeah, and they could bundle that together. I think that's a great suggestion, Paul. By the way, Bernie Sanders just issued he just got his report back from the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, and I don't know if the CBO has been stacked with Trumpers or what. But Bernie points out that 10 years ago, when he first proposed a national $15 minimum wage, the CBO scored it as saying it would increase the deficit by less than $1 million over 10 years. And therefore, because it didn't have a consequential effect on the budget, it couldn't be included in reconciliation. We've got this big budget bill that they're debating reconciliation on. Well, the CBO just came out and said that increasing the minimum wage would increase the deficit by $54 billion. Now, Bernie says, I have no idea how they came up with this number. But the fact that they have said that increasing the minimum wage will have an effect on the budget means that it can be included in this COVID relief package because it is budget related. And that's the touchstone. That's the key. That's what makes it possible or not. So, I
don't think we've had a federal minimum wage increase since, I think it was 2007. This is now the longest running period of stagnant minimum wage. It had been first from 1981 to 1991, and then it was from
the Reagan era.
97 to 2007. They're both 10-year periods, and now it's been almost 14 years since there's been a national increase in the national minimum wage. And people talk
about the cost of living has gone up.
Yeah, precisely. It's gone up. And it is the states that still have the federal minimum wage, the $7.25, are, of course, the worst performing economic states. They're all red states. They're essentially the bottom 40%. 20 states they're all red states. Terrible. And they talk about, what happened in Seattle. Seattle is now the minimum wage in Seattle. I just checked the website a little while. It's not 15, it's $16.39 now. And I think that what people don't realize is that in King County, they talked about, it's going to hurt business. Well, in King County, where half of it, remember, half of King County, because where I live, Kirkland, it didn't apply to Kirkland. It only applied to Seattle. But where restaurants went out of business like crazy, like they always do, is on the east side, where it was not $15 an hour. The restaurants in Seattle continue to thrive, and I don't understand, with all the money on the east side of Seattle, why a restaurant can't stay open. But it is a quizzical thing that restaurants go out of business. I mean, you faster than you can change your mind. It's astounding to say, hey, let's go back to that place, and then you drive over there, and they're closed. It's like
Yeah.
it can't be
Well,
because of the minimum wage because they were not affected by that.
Obviously, COVID has a lot to do with that, but I get your point. And if you go back and look pre-COVID, the point that you're making is absolutely solid. Paul, thank you for the call. Alan in West Palm Beach, Florida. Hey, Alan, what's up?
I just found it on the internet here. Rush Limbaugh on bipartisanship. And let me read here. What they mean is we check our core principles at the door, come in, let them run the show, and agree with them. That's bipartisanship to them. To us, bipartisanship is them being forced to agree with us after we politically have cleaned their clocks and beaten them. That's bipartisanship from the Conservative Party, where it's not a matter of them listening to our values and principles. It's a matter of them after they've beaten us to rope it up situation where we listen to them and yield to their philosophy. That's their bipartisanship.
This is, when Republicans are in power, it's, hey, F your feelings, and elections have consequences. And when Republicans are out of power, it's, what happened to bipartisanship? Why aren't you willing to compromise? These poor snowflakes. Alan, thank you. That's a great one. William in Champaign, Illinois. Hey, William, what's up?
Hi, Tom. Good afternoon. Long-time listener, actually first-time caller, and really do appreciate your show. I try and tune in every day. So the senator that was on earlier, I have a 3-for-1 for him. Number one, these jobs that people claim are, illegals are coming here to take American jobs, they're not being taken away. They're being given, and they're being given because companies are giving them, and they're not being held accountable to the laws that we have on our books, which is ironic from a law and order build party, right? And then secondly...
Yeah, and if I can speak to that, William, before you continue, just real quickly,
sure.
The two industries that were the most heavily, among the most heavily unionized industries in the United States, construction and meat packing, prior to '86, prior to Reagan's immigration reform, those two industries are now low-wage industries with no unions and lots of people who are in this country without documentation. And I'm all in favor of comprehensive immigration reform and all these things. Oh, okay. Well, go ahead, William.
That explains.
That's why Republicans are in favor of this.
There is not a line of quote-unquote Americans in line for these jobs. These companies are doing what they have to do, which is wrong. But they are paying low wages, which is why, north of me, we had a poultry plant where a number of Hispanic men living 8 people to an apartment all got COVID. All of them, I don't know whether they were here legally or illegally, but I can tell you if there's 8 people living to an apartment, they're not making enough money to, live high on the hog here in America. Stop hiring and hold these companies accountable, raise the rates so that Americans are paid fairly, and then on top of all of that, have a program where you come to this country or you're an American, you have one ID that allows you to work in the United States, allows you to vote in the United States, and allows you to drive, or allows you to, like your Social Security card, combine those into one card and save even more money.
I would take the driving out of that because each state has their own driving laws, but and regulations. But I'm with you, William. And this is not some racist rant from some right winger. I'm in favor of a rational immigration policy. I do believe that countries need to have borders essentially to maintain their integrity as individual countries. And I think that the collapse of that ideology or that thought is one of the major crises that the European Union is facing. And but trying to enforce those things by building walls. That's what East Germany did.
Absolutely.
It's just
one last quick point I want to make too is that I watch what they say, but I also watch what they do, and I'm following Marjorie Greene quite a bit. More for the fun of it, but interesting that she keeps pushing the gun rights and everybody should have a gun, and I want to bypass the metal detector. When are they going to start letting their supporters show up and carry guns to the RNC? When are they going to let them start showing up to hotels that have Trump's name on them and march in with guns? When are they going to start walking the walk instead of talking the talk? And I think Democrats need to put them on the offensive. Thank you so much for taking my call today.
Sure, William. You know, the big NRA convention 2 years ago, the last time they had a big public convention before they went bankrupt, they didn't allow weapons in the hotel. It was like, really?
It's ridiculous. Thank you so much.
No gun zone.